As women, we share traits that make us powerful, such as empathy and strength. Women of Reflection is where every woman is unified in sisterhood. Together, we celebrate, we embrace, we rise as strong, divine women. We are warriors. Hey guys, here we are. The train is still moving. Season 3, episode 4, Love, Loss, and Legacy. This episode is titled The Silent Load. Because guys, for me, life has been knifing. And I don't think it get any heavier than it has this year, Lord. Like when you think it's one battle after another and like, man, I've done gone through the storms and I've done gone through the winds and I've done gone through the fire. Life is still life, and then the load is just, it's heavy. So I want to take a moment just to share a little bit of what the silent load that I'm carrying and just a lot of things I've been reflecting on with you in this episode. I feel like I've already done like the couple episode and, the kids episode, but this is woman to woman. This is mother to mother. Life has really been life. And I've just been thinking a lot about that. What makes the silent load silent? You ever realize that you're achieving the day-to-day needs and still struggling with the internal ones? And if you ever just take a moment to think about that, like the bills, the food, grocery shopping, the gas for the car, did you sign the permission slip? Like everything that we need on a daily basis, it just keeps going. And internally, you just don't even have a moment to sit because you're so drained from carrying that. So if that is your life, or if this is a season that you're in, I need you to take a moment, sit with me with this episode, because I need you. I need you because I'm going through, and we're going to unpack together. So I started to reflect on this topic, the silent load. And what came to mind was like, well, you took a year off. In that year, you took some time to just get some things done, some goals achieved. You did some therapy, a lot of work for yourself, just to hear what God needed for you on the inside. I felt like prior to me taking the year off, I did a lot for Women of Reflection, and I love doing the work for Women of Reflection. I had my war food drive every Thanksgiving where we prepare the meals, and the kids and I and family and friends, we go out and we feed the homeless. I poured a lot into that. Then I do the Saving Our Teens, during the pandemic. I do the domestic violence awareness and use the proceedings for that to feed the homeless and creating content and all. So I feel like in that time and in that season, I felt like as I was doing more on the outside, the out of work, God was magnifying the things I needed to sit and deal with on the inside, internally. And I felt like the more I kept moving, he kept yelling and screaming that I needed to be still. The day-to-day needs didn't matter as much as the work that I needed to do internally. So I took the year off. I needed to sit with the things I struggle with internally. And let me be honest to you, because I don't want you to think like, girl, you got problems. And that's why you got to keep pausing and stopping. We all do. Life is life. But for me, I'm just a big person on evolving. I really like to sit with myself, think about ways that I could improve. I love doing things that make me a better version of me. And if you ever know me or hear, like when I speak about my kids, my little mantra, my motto is being the best and nothing less, because I really want my kids to experience the better version. I don't want them to pass down generational mess up. No, we're not passing that down. It ends with me. And I stand 10 toes on that. I'm very big on it. So I really take time in doing the work, and I just feel like while trying to create that better future for them, I didn't really realize with being on the go so much, the silent load that I carry. And it's heavy, guys. It's not just silent. Heavy, it's deadly. Ooh, Jesus, it's draining. So just, the silent load of trying to break what felt like a curse in my life. I worked on that while I was going through crazy storms, and the storms haven't ended. It's still like a different season, different person, different everything. It's a lot. Like in the same breath as I'm trying to figure out who I am, while still showing up for the daily needs of my family. I think that was the hardest part. And life doesn't pause. It doesn't even pause for healing. Speak on that. I had a major surgery 2 weeks ago. I had a hysterectomy, and that was hard. Not just the physical preparation of like trying to schedule my health and schedule that in a season where the kids are off from school to prioritize their needs and then prioritize my health needs. That was stressful. And then the financial needs that comes with that, the hospital bills and having to afford and pay for those things, making sure that the kids have food during that time and do like preparation of dinner. Oof, it was a lot of preparation. And life, to me, it doesn't pause for the healing. Even after the surgery in 2 weeks, I'm still feeling the overwhelmingness of the bills and things, the demands of the kids and the practices that they have to get to. And me not wanting them to feel like, mommy is taking away the moments that they'll miss with their end of the year sports celebration. And there's no time. It doesn't pause. Life does not pause for healing. It doesn't. The bills still come. The kids still grow. Their shoes are still getting tight. They're still demanding new things. The projects that they need help with still pop up. Dinner still has to be made. And on top of that, it's just like your body is screaming for a moment of pause, but life's demands, it doesn't really give you that. I always think about like, I just want to give my kids so much more. And sometimes I do struggle with the guilt of not having enough to do that. I work a job that allows me to be present, a typical 9 to 5. I don't do any overtime or anything more because if I do work the jobs where I can make more money, who would take them to practices? Who will help with their homework? Who would check their grades and their hearts? Who would be present for that? The things that they're dealing with on a daily. And so as I was thinking about the load of putting me second and putting their wants first, I'm just like, you know what? The struggle is real. And I don't think no mother chooses for the street to raise their child. The struggles do. When you see parents working 3 or 4 jobs and really not being here to show up and be at the practices and be able to have the flexibility to be present, it's hard, man. The struggles put you in that situation where kids are alone at home and they're helping siblings with homework. And life is just, it's life, and everyone's narrative is different. But I feel like my struggles and my own narrative of my life, my struggles pushes me to choose less of me and more of them. And I just feel like my kids truly deserve it. Is that easy? Absolutely not. I think it's one of the hardest things I have to do. Having 3 kids and now adding the 4th one into the mix, putting myself last at the end of 4 is definitely a silent load. And but it's the silent load we carry as parents, And I think what makes it a little bit harder is, it's hard without family support, not having family near and not having family to chime in. And if you do, as a listener, you have that family support, please, please, please make sure you show gratitude for the people that show up for your kids. My children are 16, 14, and I have 12 and almost 1. And I kid you not, it's hard. I work 8 hours off at 5 p.m. I drive my boys to sports. Practice starts at 6 p.m. on a regular school night. No break and no time to breathe. On the drive there, I'm trying to check in and make sure I'm present, even though I'm drained, making sure that their day was good or not. You basically turn into that unpaid non-degree therapist. And I know as moms and parents listening, you know how that goes. Just trying to make sure that they can unload their day. And it's important because these are the moments that count. If you dismiss it, then you lose connection. And especially with teenagers, you want to make sure that you're present in those moments, so we show up. I sit at practices for hours. I'm so drained. So I'm not the mom that comes out and like really mingle with everyone else. Sometimes, but not all the times. I just, some days I want the quiet moment, and that's a little bit hard. So I kind of give myself a moment to like maybe do a quick walk with the baby, just walk around for fresh air. But then I also make it intentional time with the child that's with me. Normally the boys have practices at the same time. So that child is mainly Cassidy. Some days I feel really bad and guilty that, I'm pretty sure that she probably wants to do a sport as well or do something fun as well. But so like trying to pull myself in to make sure everybody has their wants is hard. So I make sure that I take that time while being present and watching my other boys, practice. I make sure that I make intentional time for her, just showing up, listening to how her day goes, maybe watch a few things that she's interested in, just being there intentionally for her, pouring into her while I wait. That's, something that I feel like I really make it unnecessary to do. But in that, I don't get to really sit and unpack my drain day, and it's hard. And I feel like this year stretched me differently. Having a new addition, the baby Kyrie. I remember like when he was in his early stages, like learning how to nurse on the go was a struggle for me, especially while driving and he's screaming, crying, hungry. Now that he's almost 1, there are still challenging moments where I feel like he requires me, like being at work all day and him not even getting that one-on-one time with mom. And now I'm driving, trying to get his siblings to where they need to go. That mom guilt screams loud, and you just feel, overwhelmed. Some days I just wish there was more of me for them, and I just trying to do my best. That's the silent load that I carry. And I feel like it gets hard with the new child because I don't want the older kids to feel like they have to sacrifice the new addition, make sacrifices because, no sports because mom needs to cater to a new child. So I try my best to be present for Kyrie and Cass while watching, their siblings at practice and making sure that they get there on time. But, the late nights you get home, the routine still continues. Dinner, did you do your homework, giving the baby a bath, putting him to bed? It's hard. It is hard. And it's definitely a load that I don't think we give ourselves grace for and speak on. And some days I'm really hard on myself. And I know I have a friend, she's like my sister. She always tells me, give yourself grace because it's your first time living. And not only is it your first time living, it's their first time too. So don't be too hard on yourself. And I feel like that is what it's been helping me get through. But sometimes I get emotional because I really wish I can do more, and it's hard to do more with less, but I rather give them the best and nothing less. So when you're the only one pouring into them, it gets heavier. The weight spreads into your emotion, your mind, your body. And talk about your finances. We don't even want to go there, especially with choosing jobs that cater to the needs of the kids. It's financially hard, and being in the state of Florida, underpaid, it's hard. You get like the living and you can cover the roof, but it's hard to kind of do more for your kids. Definitely weighs on you as a mom, as a parent, the pressure to make it happen alone, it intensifies. It's really hard. And then on top of that, as we are in the holiday season, I know everybody gets happy, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer or what they call the modern Grinch. I love the holiday seasons, don't get me wrong. I love like putting up the trees and the decoration and stuff, but I'm not going to lie. When I became a single mom, it was hard. I've always found it a season that I love, but a season that was very heavy for me. And I would say not just becoming a single mom, but I think from losing my grandmother, her passing, and my grandfather becoming older, the tradition died. It was hard. I feel like I still try to keep that for my kids, but it's just not the same. And I don't know, as a listener, if you can relate to that. It makes it hard. The memories are magnified every year, just how things were growing up and what you want for your children, and just realizing the reality that it's just not the same. It's hard. And that pressure to like push through, it just adds another layer to the silent load that we carry, you know? And I think one of the hardest part for me is like the kids when they go back to school. I remember when they were younger and they would share like, oh, we had to write about what we did. And kids come back sharing stories about the trips and the gifts and the big family gathering. As a mom, I always fear that, and I pray that my babies don't feel like their story reflects only the struggle. I mean, they had gifts, and I've always done like, you know, the Christmas dinner and the tree and stuff, but I know that it's not compared to, you know, what I got growing up as a child because it's just different. It's harder now. And I always pray that my babies don't feel like the lack magnifies more than the love, you know? And I always pray that they remember the joy and not the lack. So I'm very big on that. But it's also the silent load that I carried internally. I always suffer with that during the holiday season. I guess like, you know how they talk about parents who like overdo or over give to their kids because, you know, kind of feel that way. So I feel like the holiday season is one of those seasons where I never want to underdeliver for them. It adds a lot of pressure on me, but it also makes me sad because again, I just feel like it's a moment where I realize like if I don't give it to them, then who will? You know, I gotta go hard. But you know, behind me showing up during the holiday season, I just feel like I started to think to myself, like, dang, man, not every smile has a red heart beating behind it. There are people that are like struggling to feel that love and to like really produce that. Some people struggle to show up and give their best, especially when they've been carrying the journey for a long time. And I feel like as my kids are older now, like I said, 16, 14, 12, and almost 1, they're writing lists with expensive gifts. And it's kind of hard. It's hard because I never want to underdeliver, like I said, but it's hard because you just want to do your best. And you think about people that really should be playing the part during this time. That also is something that magnifies as I carry the load, who should be showing up for them. People who come into our lives, but they don't always stay. The people that don't always keep their promises on how they say they would show up. As a mother, I feel like that also adds another layer and load. I think the holiday season for me magnifies the missing parts or the missing people that promised my kids or should. So it also brings it back to adding the pressure that I have to do the most because you don't ever want them to feel that. And then you sit with the internal part of, wow, you know, like, I guess they don't matter because, you know, despite how you feel about me, what about them? Do it for the innocent children who don't ask to be here. You know, I always say that it's important to show up for them, whether you're like a coach, whether you're a mentor, whether you're aunt, a uncle. If you have or know like a mom out there who's trying to do her best for her kids, you know, make it all about her kids during this holiday season, I think it's important that, you know, you just gather a little bit more, sponsor a gift. I had friends help sponsor gifts off their list. And to this day, the kids, you know, they'll probably listen now. They don't even know that I wasn't the one to purchase it because I couldn't do that and bill. So, you know, shout out to friends and family who do give that support. And if not, guys, I hope you're listening and this could be a takeaway that you just kind of chime in to be of help because it's a load that we carry already. But then during this season, it magnifies, you know, the lack that we want to give our kids. And I'm not saying like we're out there trying to give them $1 million gifts so that they can keep up with the Joneses. That's definitely what I'm not saying. It's just the little, you know, and it's hard to do that. Pay bills, keep the food on the table and lights on and a roof over their head. We have to determine like needs versus need and then still be in the moment of the holidays. So it's hard, but you know, I just pray that you can show up for them in a better way that someone showed up for you. It definitely takes the load off parents who is trying to do the best and nothing less. Whew. So as I unpacked all of that. It's just hard, guys. And I just wanted to dedicate this episode to just highlight that the silent load that we carry for going. I know that every episode I've been saying, like, pick up the mirror, look in the mirror. Here's our reflection. That has been hard for me to do in this season. So I wanted to do something different in this episode. So I'm going to give you a quick moment to just grab a sticky note. You're going to need a sticky note, a piece of paper, something to write on, or just write it in your notes in your phone. But if you write it in your notes in your phone, I also want you to write it down because we're going to place it on our mirror. So like in your bathroom or like your car mirror, just a mirror where you can look and repeat after me, because I want this to be a reminder that when the load feels too heavy, it's a reminder that you're not alone. As I said, this is something that I'm just being transparent and sharing my daily struggles with you. So here we go. I want you to say this affirmation, especially during this season if it's hard for you like it is. I am showing up in ways I was never shown. I am breaking cycles that tried to break me. I am not behind. I am becoming. My strength is not silent, it is sacred. The love I pour today builds a future my children will thrive in. Every tear waters a seed that will one day blossom. My children will rise from the ground I am repairing. I am worthy of rest. I am worthy of support and softness too. I am grace in motion. I am chosen for this assignment. The world may never see my load, but my children will see my legacy. And I am encouraging you, warriors, put it on your mirror, see it every day, let it carry you through the next silent load. And I'm doing this as well as I am encouraging you. If this episode touched your heart, I am asking that you please, guys, like, share, and subscribe, because creating content from a place of truth is not easy, and hearing from you reminds me that I am on track. Leaving a comment and tell me a moment that connected with you. Your feedback encouraged me to keep creating, to keep healing openly, and to keep showing up in a sacred way. I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for holding space with me. Until next time, take care of you the way you take care of everyone else. And don't forget, we are warriors.